Yeah, it's about the bag with the triple single crew. We got Ronnie, Doc, Antonio, the real deal too. They coming and dropping knowledge, you know that they get to work. You know that triple single cover Bay Area sports. You know I'm coming hard, I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. Like number 30, I really got the range like Steph Curry. Get a couple rings and
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the real deal from the triple single crew, and I got my guy Doc Antonio Martinez and Ronnie with me. Fellas, we got some great news. Steph Curry just keeps piling on with the amazing achievements, and he passed the great Wilt Chamberlain 2 nights ago, dropping 53 points.
Yeah.
And he only needed 19, and so he got past that in the first quarter. So just wanted to talk a little bit about that. So Doc, why don't you get us kicked off?
Yeah, so this season has been rocky to say the least. I probably would not have watched the game if it wasn't for Stephen Curry being so close to reaching a milestone. Inside information for our viewers: my wife is pregnant; she's gonna have twins. Like, I definitely have my hands full, and so I don't need to watch every single game. I'm starting to realize that. Because I usually do. I don't miss a single game. Even last season, I think I watched 90% of our games, and we know how bad it was to watch last season's game. But I decided to watch the game against the Nuggets, and Steph Curry came out on fire. He had 21 points, I believe, that first quarter, and he was just not hesitating whatsoever. He was taking any shot that he felt was even slightly open, and it was amazing to see, because not only did I love seeing him play with that confidence, but when the shot's going in, it's like, why not play like that all the time, right? But I think on a larger scale, what it really made me just think is how much I appreciate Steph. I tell my wife all the time that I'm going to tell my two daughters, I'm having two girls, that Stephen Curry was the best player that I've had the chance to see in my time. And I'm not trying to be a homer just because he's a player of the Golden State Warriors. When you take into consideration his physical build, when you take into consideration all the doubt and all the questions that he had coming into the league out of Davidson, the guy has beyond surpassed anything that anyone could have imagined him becoming. This is a two-time back-to-back MVP, the only unanimous MVP in the history of the NBA, and might end up being the only one in the history of the NBA, especially with how everyone's trying to cast votes for so many different players nowadays. But it really made me go and take a walk down memory lane from the first time that we drafted him. I didn't know what exactly we were getting on that draft night. I watched the highlights. I was excited because I could be like, hey, he can shoot. We need that on the Warriors. But you looked at him, and then he started dealing with some of his injury issues, and you're like, God, dang it, this is why we're never gonna get out of the cellar. And then all of a sudden, we started to build around him. It started with the Monte Ellis domino. Once we traded Monte Ellis, signifying that we were fully committed to Stephen Curry being the cornerstone of the franchise, that's when everything changed. And even a little bit of inside information, maybe even for the real deal, I was actually a huge LeBron James fan. Not that I'm not now. I appreciate LeBron for who he is on the court and what he does actually off of the court. But I remember the season leading up to 2015. That's when the Warriors were starting to pile up some playoff runs. We were always coming up short, but I was playing 2K with some friends in the dorms. I was still in college at the time, and somebody asked me, "Yo, what happens if the Warriors and the Cavs meet in the finals? Who you rooting for, huh? Who you gonna have then?" And because they knew I was also a Warrior fan, and I remember sitting there. I'm not making this up, and I said I'd ride with the Warriors because that's the hometown team, and I have to ride with them no matter how much I appreciate LeBron, and no matter how much he's influenced my fandom within basketball. And when we got to the playoffs, I came to realize why a lot of people don't like LeBron. And we won that finals. And it was on the back of Stephen Curry just being the leader of that squad. And I can go on and on and on because I love the guy. Shoot, I almost wanted to name my golden retriever that we just got a few months ago, Curry. My wife didn't let me. We chose on Buddy, close enough. But that is just me trying to be as open, as honest as just to like what Stephen Curry means to me, like on the court and off the court as well.
Yeah, man, that's exactly how I feel. But before I get going, I like to get your takes, Ronnie, as well. Because I mean, when you were growing up, this was so Steph. When Steph came out 12 years ago, you were still pretty little. But what that first finals, I imagine, was pretty impactful for you.
Yeah, man. When he was drafted, I was only 6 years old.
Wow.
Yep.
I was born in
Yep.
2003, drafted in 2009. So, I had no idea who Steph Curry was. I was just getting into school. So, you know, definitely like looking back at the highlights and stuff, like once he was drafted, that's like when things started going up. They started building around him. They eventually drafted Clay at number 11 in 2011.
Mhm.
They got a steal in Draymond in the second round with the 35th overall pick. Then, like Doc brought up, trading Monte Ellis for Andrew Bogut and, drafting Harrison Barnes number 7th overall, the pieces just started coming. And then, having those playoff runs,
Yep.
GOAT said it himself, the only way you'll succeed is if you fail first. Michael Jordan. I got that from The Last Dance. So yeah, I remember watching too. And that eventually solidified the dynasty. The next year, 73 games that they won, and then getting KD and then winning back to back. So, got the 3 chips right here, bro. So, not only have we like us Bay Area fans, loving Steph Curry, like we've been like he's been putting on a show for us for 12 years now. And like as me for someone that watches like his highlights and even the games, just he's definitely someone that has changed the game because before he was drafted there weren't as many like forwards or even centers shooting as many threes as there are today. So he's definitely
Yeah.
someone that's changed the game, and he's definitely someone that we're going to talk about of possibly being the greatest point guard to ever play this game. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
most recent Golden State Warrior game I went to, this was when he was rehabbed from his broken hand, and they were playing the Kings. They ended up losing, but it was like between total 14-year-olds could go into the tunnel and be able to high five the whole team. I was 16, so my mom was able to kind of slip me through, and I was luckily able to high five Steph Curry. So
Oh,
I told
Wow.
myself, I'm like, I'm never washing my hands again, even though that ain't true. But you know, definitely like someone that I've definitely watched, and it's a great milestone, and he's just gonna keep going up from here. So because there's
Yeah.
not much more that we can get from him. I mean, he's done it all for us. So
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, he's just building on the myth, right? He's just building on his living legend. That's kind of how I feel. Thanks for sharing. That's a great story, by the way, man. I think the closest I've got is I've gotten like autographs from Buster Posey, and I've shaken hands with like Krug and Kipe. That's about the in terms of the Bay Area, fandom and stuff like that. Oh, I met Romo a couple times too. So yeah, but that's incredible, man. And he's just amazing. When we were growing up, we watched the greatest ever, at least in my opinion, right? We watched Michael Jordan, and I don't know if we had the appreciation then that we do now. And I think the same thing about Steph. I don't think we truly appreciate him, or at least nationally, they truly appreciate how great he is. There's so many great players. LeBron is still around, right? And we know he's going to end up being looked at, and he already is, as one of the top 3-4 players ever. And so where does that put Steph, right? And I, when you pass someone like Wilt Chamberlain, who's on my top 5 list of greatest players ever, players that changed the game themselves, who was a big man before Wilt Chamberlain came in and completely dominated. Shaq would probably say the same thing, that would, someone like that was his hero, right? So in the future, you're going to have kids that are going to be growing up, and you already do, that are just practicing the 3-point shot because they want to be like Stephen Curry. And so, like you said, Ronnie, he changed the game. Michael Jordan changed the game. I don't know if LeBron changed the game as great as he is. I think he just showed you a different facet of what it would be to be Jordan and Kobe, but be 260 pounds, and do it in an athletic way that we've seen before. But Steph literally changed the dimensions of a basketball court. So for me, he's a genius. He's a genius living in our time. And I hope the fans got a chance to see what Chris Mullin said post game after the 53-point night 2 nights ago. He just had so much praise for him. And here's a guy who's a Hall of Famer. And his numbers in the rafters. He's an all-time great Warrior, and he just can't help but just keep heaping praise on someone who he realizes is one of the greatest players ever. And so It's just such a privilege. It's such a privilege. And I don't take any second for granted that I get to watch that guy play.
Yeah, not definitely. I mean, the most memorable game for me definitely was that playoff game against the Rockets. I think it was game 6 where he had 0 points in the first half.
Yep.
And then in the second half, he went on to score 33 and they won the game and they advanced. So,
yeah,
that just shows you can struggle in the first half, but then he would just turn it up a notch in the second half. And, definitely, I like how you brought up that, we don't appreciate it as much because, like, when he does eventually retire and, he's not playing anymore, we're going to be like, damn, like, we didn't take as much advantage of watching this guy. So, I'm gonna try and be like Doc, try and watch every Warrior game as I can as we play right now. So
do it while you're young. Do it while you're young.
So, do it before you have so many responsibilities that it becomes a bit more complicated to fit into your schedule. But yeah, all of the stories that we shared, and thank you so much, Ronnie and Real Deal, for just giving insight to your fandom on such an amazing player.
You froze, Doc.
Oh no, can you guys hear me now?
Now we got you. Yep.
Okay, cool. I was just saying thank you so much for just sharing your stories on just, this fandom that we've all had on such an amazing player, but even more importantly, such an amazing role model, right? Steph Curry also highlights him being a father. He highlights him being a husband. These are great things for our younger generation to see, right? That you don't just have to be a basketball player. You can be so much more than that. So, right, you can be great at all these other facets of life. And so I think that's even why I resonate with Stephen Curry even more. I'm having my 2 girls, right? He started off with having 2 girls as well. Who knows? Maybe I'll have my own canon in the future. We'll see. But for now, right, I think there's just this deeper connection that goes beyond the basketball court. And I don't think I've ever been able to say that with any other basketball player. And so, Steph, we celebrate you. We love you. If ever we get a chance to meet you in person, we hope that we can engage you in not only basketball talk, but just even life talk and really just let you know how you've changed all of our lives, because you've brought us joy, a lot of joy that we've been able to share with our families and our loved ones.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, that's all I got, you guys. I don't want to add anything to it. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And keep on liking, keep on subscribing at TSC Bay Area on Twitter and Instagram. That's right. Put them up for 3.
He's gonna be Ray Allen. We're gonna see it happening.
His goggles when he makes a flashy pass.
Take care, everybody.
See everybody.
See you next time.